Fields flooded across Wisconsin with the heavy rain and heavy flooding. A lot of farmers are now reporting that their crops in some places are completely lost. Also, I have to say this. I've been listening to your reports for 2.5 years, and just in the past number of days, in the past week, I've noticed a dramatic shift in tone and urgency in what a lot of you guys are saying about what you're seeing at your stores. There are real shortages starting to appear, and we need to start paying attention. If you're just kind of coming in and out, listening to see if what's going on, friends, I'm just going to tell you that some things are starting to change out there. You might want to get your preps a little more in order because we're starting to see some issues developing in the supply chain. Also, another aircraft catches fire out there, and Yemen rebels hit a cargo ship with 3 separate missiles, and it takes on water. Listing. Will it sink? We don't know just yet. Also, we have a heartwarming story from one of the members of this family that their preps allowed them to help other people. That and more on today's Poplar Report. Welcome. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates, these are your reports on what you guys are seeing happen out there at your stores, your workplaces, and out there in your countries. These are coming from all over the world. If you have something to share, make sure you do share that with us. Just make sure you use the word update in your comment on this video or on any video on this channel that gets it to the right place. Also, give us some sort of geographical context if you can. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. Before we dive in, they help people who have retirement accounts get out of stocks and bonds over into gold, silver, and platinum. So if you have a retirement account and you want to get into something safer, Jonathan and his team can talk to you about whether gold or silver or something else might be a good fit for you. There'll be a link at the end of the video to find out more. And I'll just put this out there too, that we just had a video drop yesterday on the Poplar Prepper on how to make purified water from just bottles. It's a super important tip or trick. If you're wondering about where you're going to get drinking water from, make sure you go over there. There'll be a link to that video at the end of this video. So, a United Airlines engine caught fire on the tarmac. There were 148 passengers and 5 crew members on board. They had to evacuate. They were able to get the fire extinguished on the tarmac before it took off, but super, super concerning. And we're hearing the same airline come up again and again and again. That is United Airlines. Friends, if you're traveling, you might want to avoid American Airlines. You might want to avoid Boeing aircraft. Now, this case, it was actually an Airbus 320. But this is the first instance that we've heard recently that the incident happened to be an Airbus. Most of the recent incidents have been Boeing aircraft. Now, Boeing was like, hey, let's go DEI. Let's start hiring non-white people. And United Airlines has absolutely been doing that same thing. They're like, let's just get rid of all the white people because they're really the problem, and let's hire people whether or not they're actually qualified at their jobs. They wouldn't say it like that, but that's exactly what they end up doing. There's a medical university, I think it was UCLA, that they're like, let's get more, diversity in here. And they actually started having 50% of their medical class failing. Usually they have a 5 to 10% failure rate, but recently, in the last couple of years, it's gone up to 50% in some cohorts, which is just ridiculous. But that's what happens when you bring in people who are not qualified, who are getting their diversity hires. They don't work as hard because they know that they're just going to be hired anyway. And, I mean, hey, if you knew that you couldn't be fired, would you work as hard? Let's just all be honest here, right? So it's human nature, right? When you set up systems, you get the results from that system. And we're seeing United Airlines is having more and more issues out there. Boeing is having more and more issues out there. It's a very small percentage still, but it is growing. A Greek-owned bulk carrier, a cargo ship, it's called Lax, hit by 3 missiles off the coast of Yemen. The Yemeni Houthi rebels fired multiple missiles at the ship and hit multiple times. It's a little unclear exactly what happened, but apparently the ship is taking on water and listing to one side. There is concern whether it will be able to make it to port or not. There are armed guards on board to prevent pirates from doing things, but the armed guards were apparently unable to shoot down the missiles with their boomsticks. 80,000 tons of cargo on board. We're still not hearing what was actually on board, but it's like one of those open carriers where they just dump, like iron ore or dirt or rocks or whatever, or grain in the top. So it could be anything along those lines. So it's loose stuff. It's not like boxed cargo. This is from Lori. Steve, I've seen the lab-grown beef mixes mixed in with the regular meat at our local Food Lion in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. Now, I have not heard about lab-grown beef being mixed in with anything yet. If anyone has any further information on that, please do let us know. And let me know if you like the background. You guys voted for both. So we have our American flag, and then we also have our protest flag where we are standing with Texas because of the invasion and everything happening out there. Super, super concerning. And let me know if you like the background. I tried to get my musket up there too, but it just didn't look right. It looked a little too busy. So my musket did not go up on this iteration. We'll see about getting up there at some point, just because it's cool having a musket, right? Karen says, in southern Wisconsin, we have so much rain this spring that many of our fields are flooded. It's bad enough that one of our largest family-owned local farms stated on Facebook that they have lost their entire watermelon crop for this year. It's a good idea for people to grow as much as you can for yourself and for your family. So bad news coming out of Wisconsin up there. We'll keep you updated as more information becomes available. Cynthia says, I live in South Central Kentucky. A friend and I shop at the discount Amish stores in our area. Usually the pasta section is full. Now it's a discount store, right? So last Friday it was sparse and there was not any macaroni at all. On Sunday, now, I mean, a discount store, you can understand how they might not have full stock, right? But went to Food Lion as well. They had plenty of pasta, but the store brand macaroni was non-existent. So the generic version out there was gone. There was only one name brand macaroni available, $1.69 a package. The store brand is usually 99 cents. Is it inflation if you're forced to buy brand names that cost a lot more? That's a question we're going to have to answer in the coming months, maybe, if we see this trend continue. Andrea says, I'm an Avon rep. Now, I get it. It's a makeup company, and for you guys, you're like, I don't care. For you ladies, you're like, maybe I do care. But maybe you're like, yeah, but it's not really that important because it's makeup. But I want you to hear what's happening to the supply chain out there. This is important because if a company is really having trouble buying things and manufacturing things, it's indicative of what's going on out there. I'm an Avon rep and really have only one customer. It's so frustrating. Can't get her the nail polish or the lip balm or face moisturizer she wants. Almost every time this customer places an order, there's at least one item I can't get for her. She's an older lady who's starting to forget more, and she's worried that she's messing up the orders. I've started making her receipts so I can list everything that we can't get. But seriously, her lip balm will take 6 months. You know, lip balm should not take 6 months to get to somebody, right? I've got my chap ice over here because I talk a lot, right? we got to keep our lips moist if we're talking a lot, right? But seriously, her lip balm takes 6 months to get in, and that's if it's available on the estimated date they're saying. And it's always the stuff you would think that should be stocked somewhere, but that's just not available. It's crazy. And I put a little note down here, what used to work no longer works. We used to ask what will be built tomorrow, you know, what will be new tomorrow. Then in times of crisis, we started to ask what will be fixed tomorrow. And now we're asking what will break tomorrow. We are in empire decline, make no bones about it. and decline turns into collapse inevitably. It just starts speeding up, and we're seeing that, aren't we, in real time. Her yarn says, here in south central Pennsylvania, Weiss store had no regular head lettuce. In its place was shredded lettuce for $2.98. Yep, costs more for them to shred it, and then it usually is all brown and yucky and stuff too, right? Professor Falcon says, Fry's Food in Chandler, Arizona. No cucumbers. That's where the cucumbers come from, Arizona. Arizona and Nevada, right? No green beans, no jalapenos, no head lettuce, and no cabbage. Very few onions. Close out canned meat products like hash and roast beef. Eggs okay, but $3.99 a dozen. Milk okay. Thanks for your report. Baking Lady in southeast Pennsylvania. Although not funny, I laughed at the Burger King with no burgers. Yeah. My husband and I will occasionally get a panini from Wawa. Yeah, don't laugh at the name. Hey, not laughing. I've been to a Wawa before. I know what you're talking about. 2 weeks ago, they had no pickles. Yesterday, no tomato. Restaurants with no pickles and restaurants with no... I mean, you get a bucket of pickles and it lasts forever, right? I mean, as long as you refrigerate it. I just don't quite understand that. And then no tomato, right? Also at our Walmart, the pasta aisle had nothing but very expensive brand of any kind of pasta. Southeast Pennsylvania. And remember we heard that report earlier in central Kentucky. Multiple places without generic pasta. This is important, friends. We're starting to see things picking up like this. You know, if you have a one-off here and there, sometimes it's just a truck got mixed or somebody made a mistake or boo-boo or whatever. When you start hearing these connections where the same thing is having similar issues in multiple places, that's when I start getting a little more concerned and I start paying more attention. And I'm starting to hear a number of these types of things. Very slim on cottage cheese and eggs and soups and sugar. Domino's sugar is very slim. It's starting to show here finally. And all we see is that war is coming. Prepare, folks. Don't be caught without. Friends, if you've been waiting for a time to rotate your preps or to get stocked up, now might be a good time. Take a look at stuff. Highlander. Steve, you have certainly caught somebody's eye. And now I don't usually talk about these reports. A bunch of you guys keep writing these things in, but I've heard from enough of you guys in the last few days that I'm going to read this one. You've caught somebody's eye, talking about up top, or the powers that be. I listen to your channel twice a day and I'm subscribed. Your page no longer comes up on a Google search for me. And when I go to my subscriptions, your channel isn't listed. You reported that people have been desubscribed. So I checked, I'm still subscribed. I'm in my 30s and I write computer coding for a living, so I know how to access a simple YouTube page. For now, your updates still come up, which show that I'm still subscribed. Still, I'm still with you. So this is, I'm hearing from a lot of you guys saying that these videos are not popping up in your feed. Now, I'm not doing a little victim mentality kind of thing. I want you to know that that's happening to most of the prepper channels out there. In this space, if you're subscribed to other channels similar to this one, you're going to see that a lot of these are getting shadow banned. I mean, there's no other word for it. They are quietly making us disappear from a lot of people's feeds. So your favorite channels, make sure you're proactively, like even if you have a little piece of paper and just write down the channels that you like to watch, and just, you know, as you're like, oh, I want to follow that channel, just write it down on a piece of paper. They can't delete your piece of paper, and then you can always glance over the paper and you're like, oh, that's right. You know, what is going on with Southern Prepper One? Has he put anything out recently? That's what I do. That's what I do. You know, go check in on Canadian Prepper and see what he's talking about these days, or Brad over at Full Spectrum Survival, or, you know, sometimes I'm just like, who is that guy again? Oh, I haven't heard from them in a long time. And I actually have to go type it into Google search bar to go see what they're up to. You know, you can't watch everyone, but, you know, make sure that you're watching what you want to watch and not what Google is telling you to watch on YouTube, right? And if you want to watch this channel, Just make sure you remember to watch, right? Sasha says, you know things are getting bad when you go to a restaurant and they charge you extra for ketchup to put on your hamburger and fries. My family and I went out to lunch in Rising Sun, Maryland, and was surprised when the waitress said, if you want ketchup, there's an extra charge. Never mind having paid $15 for a hamburger even without the fries. This is a small pub restaurant. It's getting crazy. Mama B, this is an encouraging, uplifting story. You want to hear this one. She says, I live in northwest Arkansas where storms have just recently hit. Realized how important it is to have a rotating supply of granola bars or quick-to-eat food, right? You should have like long-term food storage, stuff that's, going to get you through long terms or whatever, but make sure you have some easy access food, stuff that you can just grab off the shelf and just eat if you got stuff to do. Felt good to know that I had water and backup power sources. By having these things set aside, I was able to focus my energy on checking on others and finding resources for a friend who had her house damaged. Having a level of preparation gives you the freedom to help others without concern for your family's immediate needs. Power company in my area has been incredible, and neighbors are coming out of the woodwork to help each other. It's so good to see. So glad I have a solar lamp already charged and a power bank for my phone ready to go. Having these things charged up and prepared is so important because during a storm, the sun doesn't shine for a bit. So make sure you have a power bank so you can charge your phone, even if you have like a little bit of a solar setup, right? Lots of good information out there. Awesome stuff. If you want to find out more about Genesis Gold, there's a link right here. If you want to watch my video about how to get unlimited drinking water, clean drinking water from just a plastic bottle, there's that video over at Poplar Prepper. That's also my backup channel. So make sure you head on over there. Make sure you're subscribed in case I disappear off this channel. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.